I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quite so thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic with this logic, you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
I'm built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing, yeah. I've been doing this, I'm on it. I just wanna be iconic. Sipping on a gin and tonic, got me going off when I'm on this topic, yeah. If I ever play, I want it. You know that I'm always honest. Stay away from those who are toxic. Keep them out your face, no way, you don't want it, yeah. Don't try to drain my energy. The enemy is everything. It's mentally, unhealthily, spreading like a rare disease. But I won't let it get to me. I don't need your therapy. I can leave a legacy of leading by intensity. Come on, we can fight this. Freedom is priceless. Spread just like a virus. Living in a crisis. Do you feel courageous? Do you seek greatness? Trust me, you can take it. Go on and take your aim. I'm built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing, yeah.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quite so thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic with this logic, you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
I'm built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past,
What up, Nine?
from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing.
Trapaholics Mixtapes.
As the 9% and word would say, make a better you, a better us.
Give them what they ask for.
Who do you think you are? I'm the word. Who am I? I'm the one who put in the work.
When I move, is it a quick rumble? I will never ever fall, never stumble. And I don't need to be humble. Break down walls like Jericho crumble.
What up, though? It's the word. You see the title. We about to get into it. But before we get into that, do me a favor, hit that like, and if you're new, hit that subscribe, man. It's free to you, but it mean the world to me. And with that being said, let me get it to that. Let me get it to that. My 33 brother, Mr. Gary Buster Down Brown. What it do with the business is, man. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Dee dee, dee dee, dee dee, dee dee, dee dee, dee dee. Dee dee, dee dee, dee dee, dee dee, dee dee, dee. What up, though, Dee Dee? Appreciate you, sis. What up, man? Hey, man, I had a show planned. I had this video saved, and when I went back to get it, it was deleted off YouTube. So I gotta find another. There's a lot of videos about Dark Empath. It's just I don't like the way people break things down. I rather break it down myself. So if I review a video, just because I don't agree with nothing 100%, but a lot of it has substance to it, and it's a way I can and I can articulate or add on to or subtract from the thought. Some things, most videos I see is like just the signs, like what I don't want the signs. I want to explain what it is, and then we get to the signs. But I wanted the video to go in depth as far as explanation of the difference between like a dark empath and a narcissist, right? And couldn't find the videos not there, so we're just gonna talk tonight. I might just make my own video again, because yeah, I might just make my own. But anyway, we here, So I do got a question. How often do you cultivate, right? Um, Now over here in the West, right? Usually when we use the term cultivation, we think of soil, right? We cultivating soil, farming or something like that. We don't really associate it to ourselves. But in the East, uh, cultivation was often used in martial art discussions, right? All cultivation is actually a process. It's like uh, is getting ready, preparing, and nurturing, right? So cultivation is like a process, you know. So to define it will be given the meaning of. So it'd be um, preparation, action, and nurturing after the fact, right? So like learning like new skills when we associate, but not only learning a new skill, but actually defining it, or we use the term honing, right? Honing a new skill. That's cultivation, working on yourself, right? So I was thinking about this because I was talking to a client, and the client, always asks for feedback, and the client was like, they didn't realize until they start working with me how often, like they didn't really the person in his 40s. And he was like, I can't remember the last time I actually spent time on me because, he working 9 to 5. So majority of his time is taken from that. That's at least minimum 12 hours a day, right? Is on that. And then he said when he get off, he be tired. He want to relax. He want to, decompress. And then he go to sleep, wake up, do it again, you know. So it was like until he started working with me, he didn't really. When he was younger, he went to the gym and stuff like that, But now that he's older, he fell into a routine. And I said, don't feel bad about that. It happens, man. Life happens to us, right? We get in the routine, something comfortable, something familiar, and we tend to fall into it. So, like working on yourself, you is has to have intention. You have to be and to work to truly cultivate yourself. You have to have intention behind it. Like in the East, like I was saying, is always associated with martial arts. And martial arts ain't fighting. That's not, is a science and is a philosophy behind martial arts, right? It's a how and a why. What you doing is martial art. Why you do it or do certain movements, that's the philosophy behind martial art. How you do it is the science behind martial art. Everything is intent, like every strike, but it's a reason behind why we do this movement, right? So there's a whole science and philosophy behind martial art, and practicing martial arts, you have to be disciplined. And normally, when you practice martial arts, you have a structure. So now you got philosophy, science, structure, and you gaining discipline. And that often associates to other aspects of your life, like even controlling self. You know, um, and it's not even about like emotional IQ or emotional um, or EQ. It's not even about that. It's more about like self control in martial arts, and by gaining that self control, that's a byproduct. A byproduct is emotional regulation, emotional awareness and regulation. The reason I don't call it IQ because I don't think martial art. I mean, I guess practicing will give you a way to express the energy properly. Yeah. But to be successful or effective and efficient in martial art, you need those things. You need the structure and the discipline to even learn the science and the philosophy behind martial art. Right. So oftentimes, like that's the benefits you get out of practicing martial arts, especially from an Eastern perspective. Now over here in America, a lot of times they're just telling you to strike it. It's a lot of the philosophy, not the science, but the philosophy is missing from like American martial arts. The traditional martial arts, you get all that. That's why you got different forms and like kung fu. You got like praying mantis, you got the tiger, you got the snake, different monkey style, all these different forms. We call them forms instead of styles, but you got these different forms, and they all got their own philosophy, and it's usually equated to the animal or yeah, the psychology of the animal, how the animal think, you know, because everything has a purpose, right? So my question to you is like, how often do you work? Even little things like not only like exercising, that's a given when we think about physically cultivating, but how often do you mentally cultivate? Right? I don't think, and that can be reading a book, learning a new word. How often do you do that? Or even emotionally cultivate, spiritually cultivate? How often do you hone these skills? How often do you nurture these skills? How often do you actively even practice? You know, I think over here, well, I ain't gonna say over here, just society in general. I think majority of people entitled, bro. They don't truly put the work. We don't. I mean, as a society, I don't think we put the work in like we used to do 15, 20 years ago. And a lot of that, I mean, I'm not gonna blame technology, but a lot of that you can associate the technology. I ain't gonna blame it, but I'm gonna link it. Technology made people lazy. Map reading was a skill back in the day. You had to learn how to read a map, use a compass. Most people don't even know what the fuck a compass is. They think it's the thing on their car, right? Telling them north, south, east, which it is a compass, but you give them a handheld compass, they wouldn't even know what it is, how to use it. They don't know about how it works, to even know how to use it. You got to know how a compass works for you to even know, how to use it. But most people just want things given to them. They want it the easy button. Y'all remember that Staples commercial, the easy button? I think that psychologically imprinted on people. That damn commercial will fuck the world up, okay? That commercial will mess the world up. I think that's psychologically imprinted on people, and now everybody want an easy button for everything. That's why people. I was listening to this debate tonight, and the lady kept saying, "Just Google it." Just okay, if you Google it, do you know how to check the site? Do you know how to? Are you checking it? Do you know how to really check a reference? Because you can't just Google stuff because anything can be put on Google. That's like people using Wikipedia. Do you know you can edit Wikipedia? I don't know if you can still, but I remember when Wikipedia came out, people kept going to it. And now I'm like, hold on, bro, you can edit this shit? Yeah, I don't know if you can still do that, but like it's false information all the time. So even in books, right? Even in books, you can go to the library and get a book, it'll be a bunch of bullshit. But if you're not a cross reference things, then you can't just Google it. And because of technology and people ain't got lazy, people just trust the first thing they see. First thing they see is like, well, but that's perception biases. They find it something that confirm, or I use the term validate, their beliefs. That's first thing they attach to, not really understanding if it's right or wrong, if it has been debunked. People don't look at stuff like that. Oh, you can't just Google stuff. But she kept saying that, and I'm like, that's not an end all be all. That shows laziness to me. No, you can look stuff up, but you can't just say Google it. Well, it's AI now. Well, AI is biased too. Somebody programmed it. AI is biased too. I seen some stuff the AI put up, but I knew it was wrong. And I knew it was wrong. And I went and checked the sources because that's all the AI do is find sources online. And when I seen the sources, I'm looking like, oh no, all these are biased to the point. All these are biased to the point. Great minds think alike. Justice League, right? That button was real, bro. Yeah, that button imprinted, psychologically imprinted on people, bro. Now everybody just look for easy, but everybody, I don't like. I never really got into the politics, but just recently I've been listening to people talk about like right and left and all that shit, and it's like I don't know, man. All this, I don't know. I just think a lot of this, like, I don't know, bro. I don't even know. That's why I don't get into that shit. All that shit sounds dumb. Everybody crying over something. Like people don't want to put work in. Everybody want other people to conform to make them feel good. It's all about a feel good society. Not what's effective, not what's sufficient, but if it make you feel good. I'm straight on that, bro. I'm straight. I don't need nothing outside of me to make the inside of me feel good. I'm good, bro. I'm good. I got that already in me, so I don't need something stimulating. That's why I was saying, like, who was that yesterday we was talking? I was saying that yesterday, like, people want other people to get shit done for them instead of them doing it themselves. Instead of them doing it themselves, they want other people. They feel like other people should help them. Like, bro, I don't know. That shit just sounds soft to me, man. It sounds soft, and that's where that I don't know, man. Everybody want accept me for who I am. Why do I have to accept you? Isn't that like infringing on me if I don't want to accept you? You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't a good debate, but it was a feminist. And you could tell like she was projecting a lot of her own personal experience and generalizing it. And I hate when people do that because maybe you just had a fucked up life, and my life wasn't as fucked up as yours. So that's not normal to me, but it's normal to you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how a lot of when people begin to generalize things. I mean, I guess you can generalize it with statistics, but not just because you had a personal experience. Then everything is like this. Like, nah, it's not like that. But the dude made a good point. It was like he was saying like you want like when what I always tell you when you build something. When you create something, you got to be willing to protect it, right? Because if you don't, somebody will take it from you, right? So that's anything, any kind of structure, any kind of ideas or beliefs. You got to be willing to protect it because if you don't, people will trample on it. So she was like, women. Um, and I don't disagree with women having rights or nothing like that. I'm not like I'm not chauvinistic or nothing like that, but it's like if you want to do something outside of the framework of what's available for you to do, you are responsible for it. So if you want to live a certain type of way, you have to be able to protect that. And if you complaining about men not protecting you, you can't get you got to be willing to protect yourself. This is what you want to do, and it might go against what the man who you desire to protect you might go against his beliefs, might go against his way of thinking. And it's okay for you to do, long as you can protect yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you want to walk out here half naked and then somebody rape you, you can't get men shouldn't. Nah, bro. Look, shit come with everything. There's a cause and effect factor in life. That's just what it is. Right? It's a cause and effect factor. Right? When women talk about men don't protect them, they be missing a key fucking concept of what it takes for a man to protect a woman. Right? To protect anything, you can't protect something if you're not around it. Women have to be in position for men to protect them, and men protect in different ways. So if you want me to protect you, I have to be in position to do so, right? I have to be in position. So like a woman don't want a man know all her location, and she go out with her girls, and then she get punched in the mouth, and you looking for men. No, you have a man who has the responsibility to protect them, but you went outside of that area where he can protect you and decided to do what you want to do, and this shit happened, and you expect other men around. They're not obligated. It's not their responsibility to. Uh-oh. Yeah, they both work. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me play something. We ain't play this song, man.
Can you hear me?
Okay, there we
What
go.
up, nine? You got donkey punching. Hey, I want to know what's up. You got donkey punching. Donkey punching. You got donkey punching. Mature conversation. You got donkey punching. That's the ADHD. Donkey punching. Life happens, or you grow out of stuff, or what, just things happen. Donkey punching. You got donkey punching. And then people think that women can't be like the predator or the violent person in the relationship. Like, you got donkey punching. Use something for malice. You got donkey punching. Trying to send me across the border? Donkey punching. Donkey punching.
Shout out to Commander. Yeah, sometimes you just got a donkey punch. That's what you just got to do sometimes. But yeah, but even when people, when like that's that entitlement shit, bro. The only man obligated to protect women is the man who accepted that position, and that means like family, friends, and law enforcement. Other than that, no one else is obligated to protect nobody, bro. No one's out. Would it be nice? Yeah, it would be nice, but that's not reality, bro. Usually, when people go, oh man, you should protect women back in the day, that was communities, right? And guess what? Those women were in position for men to protect them. Those women wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's a cause and effect factor, right? And the more independence you want, the less you can complain about being dependent on somebody else. You can't complain about that shit if you're independent. If you choose not to assign a role, meaning, you ain't got no man in your family, so you don't find a husband to protect you, then it ain't nobody's obligation. But it's just not, unless they getting paid for it, unless they took a job for it. That's how that works. I don't live in that normative, uh, I don't function in that normative mind frame, like how things ought to be. When you look up normative, that's one of the defining aspects of that definition, how things ought to be. I don't that don't is not sufficient in reality. We can sit back and talk about and philosophize about how things should be, but that does not change reality. It don't. So I mean, I like to deal with reality. That's what I can prepare for. I can't prepare for some hypothetical shit how I think things should be. I can't prepare for that. What I won't be effective and efficient. I can, but no, you ain't gonna be effective and efficient. Like you gonna be a fucking victim. You're thinking how things ought to be. And look how things are. Accept that shit and prepare for it. And that's where the cultivation comes in, man. Don't be delusional. Like we can all feel good. Like this is how it should be. This is that feels good, right? It feels good, right? But when it, ignorance is bliss until you got to pay for it, right? We can all feel good, but then when reality slap us and we ain't prepared for it, then that's our fault, right? Then that's where you get all these people complaining about shit. You know what I'm saying? Stressing out about shit, being depressed about shit because their whole worldview is fucked up with reality. Because they thought this cushy, fluffy mushroom and clouds. That's how they was thinking, and then when they got a dose of reality, it fucked them up. It fucked them up. I can't believe people are like this. Why not? They always been like this. We always had a degenerate portion in our population where people just did the most unscrupulous shit. Well, we got jails and prisons, right? We always had that. This ain't nothing new. That'd be tripping me out. How like when people be like, "Oh my god," they'd be so shocked when it happened to them. Be so shocked. I can't believe our society, man. Our society been like this. People always been like this. Ain't nothing changed. Only thing changed was the time. That's it. Oh, give me 1 second. Move no. Move. Gone. No, not petting you. My bad. Kids tripping, dog tripping, everything tripping in the house right now, man. Yeah, my house. Gone. Why you in my face? Yeah, I don't even know what I was talking about. My bad. Agreed. I like dating. It cracked me up to hear people say, "Why did he do this when it happens with us?" Man, yeah, yeah. Like people, I don't know, man. I don't know, but that's what tripped me out. Like people, like ain't nothing new under the sun. Uh, it just be our turn. Everybody get a turn. People go through shit, bro. I was just telling my young buck that, and shout out to him because he's going through therapy now, and it's helping him realize things. He at that age where his frontal cortex is finally fully developed, but even after it's fully developed, it still take like a couple years for it to be like actively working. And he at that age, 28, so um, he's starting to comprehend things now, not just you know see it and live it, but he's starting to question why. And like one of the defining questions I asked him, like, bro, get off of my couch. No, down. Get down. Get off my, get off my, bro. Move, down. You don't need that much love. I pay you attention all day. This is my time. I got time away from you and the kids. My butt. We just came from in the house. I'm not paying you. Gone. Man, what is wrong with you? Come on. Come on. Sucker. Now she jump over that gate. I locked her out the living room. Got a little baby gate right there. I got the gate just to keep her out. Actually, if he was a puppy, she used to always. I hate when dogs on my couch. I'm sorry. I'm not like a. I love dogs. It's just certain areas or spaces I don't. They don't go on my fucking bed. Don't go on my. I don't. If I'm sitting on or laying, I don't want my dog on. I got her a nice little bed next to the couch. She don't lay on that. She got like 4 beds, bro. She got a cot in the family room. I gave her my damn moon pod. Damn thing was $300. Gave her that because she kept laying on it. And then I got her a little bed in the living room. Well, she got 3 beds, not 4. But yeah, man. I love my dog to death. That's my baby, but I don't do all that face licking and eating my, nah, I don't do all that bullshit. but anyway, but anyway, uh, yeah, man. Especially with that, like when people like even like dating, man. Like when I hear people say, "Why do I keep going through this?" I always tell them, "Well, this is the reality of you are the common denominator. So it's not really the people, it's you." And a lot of times, I mean, you can't go through shit that you ain't participating or accepting, unless it's forced on you. Now, if it's physically forced, that's a different story. But I mean, if you're listening to the bullshit people feeding you, and you don't require action to meet word, then that's your fault. That's what I learned in life, right? That's what I learned in life. If I don't hold people responsible or accountable to what they say, then that's my fault. It's not theirs. We know people got game. We know that. Shit. People get game, bro. People get a tongue, a golden tongue, right? They got that. And if people use it on you and you uh, fall susceptible to it, then that's your fault. That's your fault, man. And it's little things like look at a person's consistency. I used to always say look at a person's history, but um, people can change, right? For the change, just I mean, that can be for better or the worse. Somebody could have been a good person back in the day, and their history show they're a good person, but now they're an asshole. So I mean, people can change. Gary used the term improvement when we're specifically speaking about becoming better. But people change, right? So they can go from good to bad or from bad to good. So, but I stopped saying history because even if a person was good back in the day and they still good, that's consistency. You know what I'm saying? If they was bad then and now they good, it's consistency. The consistency will tell the stories, and that's a person's actions, what they do. I don't care too much about what people say, right? The um, words were just always. I mean, verbal communication was to express a person's intent. That's what it was for. And that words create expectations. When somebody tell us something, we expect to see it. And like I said, if you ain't holding the person accountable, then that's your fault. You know, if that's just your fault. That's all words is. Word ain't the end all be all. It's the action. You know, people can talk all day, but what do they do? I can sit up here and seem like the best person in the world, but when I get off here, I can be a total dick. I can be a total asshole. But that's all words do. Words create expectation. That's why people get manipulated by words. You get manipulated by action, then that's a whole different. That's a horse of a different color, man. You just ain't reading the shit right, or you don't understand. I don't know. I don't know. But oh, my bad, bro. My bad. I didn't hear the little boop. What it do with the businesses, man?
What it do? What it do? What it do? Quick question, man. Quick question. Why are people so afraid? Now I'm gonna just ask you this, and I'm gonna keep it on topic real quick. Why are people so afraid to do what they need to do? You think in your
The
in your
fear. I,
observation?
I think it's fear, but fear derives from a lot of different areas. People, I know, like at one point, somebody had to make me aware, like, bro, you fearful of being successful, and it wasn't because, and it was because of what it came with, but not the responsibility. I'm not afraid of the responsibility. I don't like attention. Believe it or not, even though I'm doing this YouTube shit, I don't really like it. Like when I do this YouTube, I want to, when I go off, I just want to be off of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want, uh, like doing this YouTube, like even, like it's only a couple people who know I do YouTube and they be amazed when they see the number like 32. Like, bro, I don't get that many people in my chat or get that many people, but when they see it, it's like, wow, you got a big channel. Like, bro, that is not a big channel, bro. But it's like I had two people, like one of my freaking neighbors, and I'm walking my son from school. I'm bypassing her, and she was like, when she said you the word, man, I'm looking like, oh shit. I'm like, yeah, but her cousin watched my video. Her cousin watched my video, and her cousin was playing one, and it was one when I was taking this mask on and off. I was playing with this mask. And she just looked at me. She said, "My cousin listened to you," and I'm looking like that shit fucking weird, bro. Cause like in my community, like 32K is not a lot of people, bro. It's really not.
Mm,
And just
mm.
having one of those people out of your community, out of millions or billions of people in the world, that shit crazy. And then my dentist, like my whole dentist office, like they think I'm awesome. They like my dentist office listen to my video. I know at least 4 people in there. So every time I go in there, they like I'm a fucking celebrity. Nah, bro, it ain't like that. Because they
Well,
don't
you are a
really know
celebrity,
about
though.
like YouTube or views. They don't look at that. They just know they can go see a video of me talking on an app and they think that's like, I don't know, like shit weird, bro. But yeah. So I don't want the attention that it comes with. But
I don't
fear,
think
I mean,
nobody
I
like
think
the
it's fear,
attention.
bro. I mean, if the fear derives from, oh yeah, people love the attention, bro. People addicted to that shit, bro. They be doing crazy shit.
Ah, well, I ain't one of them. Maybe that's the problem.
Uh, but
I
that's why
really think that's the
I
problem.
think, and then it can be fear of the unknown. They don't know what to expect. If they do the, it can be like social fear. Will they be outcast? You know what I'm saying? It can be part of their ego. How will people perceive me? So, but it's definitely fear. Just You know, that's fear is reason why. You know what I'm saying? That'd be more. Um, but that's on the individual base too. So that'd be it'd be hard to, but you can, link it to fear. Definitely fear.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's what it is too. And when you say fear, I think people don't really know how far fear has its hand on things like life or situation like that. We're gonna use your word cultivate, right? That's the topic, right? That's what you said. How many people want to cultivate, right? And part of cultivation is you have to have fertile ground. So when you farming or things like that, you break up the soil, you break up the ground and have try to find some fertile place for a seed to plant. Do you know that so many people don't know what the hell we talking about when you talking about fertile ground? That people really think we talking about farming, and we talking about a fertile mind, a fertile heart, a fertile spirit, etc. People don't have that gravity. They don't understand when I say things like that. It sounds foreign to a lot of people. So when you have that misinterpretation of the word cultivate, of course they is going to think about farming. But we're putting this into everyday life because part of cultivating is when you try to develop a friendship, a situation, an association, a partnership. These are everyday things. But because people don't know what, because they only know one aspect of a definition of a word, they tend to stick with it because they don't want to do the work to understand that there's more meanings and definitions to a word than the one that they already have. And I guess it's because, in my opinion, they don't want to be too smart because they don't want to be labeled like a nerd or whatever the case may be because you have a different understanding of words and meanings and definitions. So I think that has a lot to do with people not wanting to do the work as far as anything. Now, when I said, great minds think alike, because when you brought the topic up, I was like, dang, I was going to talk about incorrigible, but I'm gonna leave that right there because I'm gonna break that down probably tomorrow. But I just think that people, when they hear a word, see a word, they think the word mean one thing, and it has more than one meaning. But a lot of the time, people, like if I say encourageable, people might be thinking about encouraging. Those are two different words. So because they only know one thing, they stick with it, even if it's a wrong concept or wrong aspect to the word. So that's why I'm saying people are afraid to adjust, change. Well, you was talking about change. I say improve because I want people to elevate themselves to grow. But that's why people don't change because they too damn grown for themselves, and they don't never want to admit that they still have room to grow. In my opinion.
Yeah, not well, I mean, even the fear of not being like people get settled, right? And they get even people get comfortable with bullshit, bro. People get, you know what I'm saying? And that's just reality. People, I don't live in that ought to how things ought to be, but people get comfortable with bullshit. You have somebody um working a minimum wage job in their 40s or 50s, and because it's comfortable, not because they limit it to it. It's just they get comfortable with it. I mean, you have people who stay in bad relationships because what they and people make these justifications. It's better to deal with the devil you know than the devil you don't. Like, why are you even fucking dealing with devils in the first place? That's how I be thinking. Like, fuck, am I deal with the devil for? You know what I'm saying? That's a choice. You know, we talk about decisions. I'm gonna decide not to fuck with devils instead of choose a devil to deal with. No, I'm good. I just ain't gonna fuck with none of the devils. You know. Well, you have like I don't know, bro. It's like
No, but
that's
see,
that way of
even with
thinking.
that, yeah, I was about to say, even with that, right? You already you rather be in the negative concept or the evil concept because you know most people think the devil is evil, right? Well, a lot of people gonna say that. So you rather stay in the negative concept instead of trying to find the positive concept that can get you away from the situation. You rather sit in dog poop instead of going in the cat poop. Like who wants to sit in poop? Who wants to sit in mess? Who wants to
Right?
sit in
Who
chaos?
fucking with the poop
Like
anyway?
why don't you find a place where there is no poop? Go to a cleaner place. Why don't you adjust yourself to the situation? But because they have been, you know, they don't cultivate, their foundation is always in chaos and poop and nonsense and mess. They won't move from it. So, like I said, I think people just really don't have that understanding that it might be just time for you to make that adjustment. But because they like to settle for less, be less, as you would say, settle for mediocrity. They rather stay there instead of doing the work to fertilize a new foundation or dig up a new foundation or set a new foundation for the new thing that they're trying to develop. That's why people stay at certain jobs for 25, 30 years and there's no lucrative deals. They're not even trying to get a promotion at the place, nothing. They're not trying to do none of that. They rather just sit there and take their job and I'm here and I'm going home. Like, no, it has to be an elevation somewhere. Even when you work, there has to be an elevation from a regular person to a supervisor, from a supervisor to a assistant manager to the manager to the CEO. Like that's what are you shooting for? So you just living to live. You like you just have you might as well be on your way going back to the grave because you walk on the green mile. There's no life in you. And because people don't have no life, they ain't looking to cultivate. They looking to devaluate themselves and I don't think they can because they already at their lower form or lower self. So I don't know how you can get lower than the bottom unless you're going under the ground. So, you know, I just think that a lot of people is afraid of this. And because of that, you know, this is when you know that a lot of people's peace is chaos, in my opinion.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I gotta stay off social media because the more I listen to it, the more I watch the news and listen to it, I don't got hope for people no more, bro. Like I think society as a whole is trash, bro. That shit fucking trash. It's like people online arguing about bullshit, calling it debate, like feminists. I don't, bro. Like none of that shit is like I would consider because she go to like little rallies and shit. Like my sister in law, like she a feminist. You know who she don't talk to
Hmm.
about that shit? Me. I remember one day she was like, "Female deserve rights." I'm like, "Fucking rights you deserve." I don't think female. Me personally, I don't think. I think it's stupid for females going out there asking for rights or what? Like, what rights are you asking for? Like, can anybody like what fucking rights don't you have? I don't understand that. It's not.
I don't understand
It's
that concept either.
you know we want equal pay. Well, like I worked the job. I worked as an anesthesia tech, and guess what? All the women was getting paid more than me, and I was doing fucking more. I was doing more than them. It was shit they couldn't lift the garbage. I'm like, it's fucking garbage. Fuck is y'all like? Can you take out the garbage? What the fuck? Don't y'all get paid more than me? Fuck am I taking out the garbage for all the time? It's a heavy box. Can you lift that? Like, hold on, bro. We doing the same fucking. So I got to do what I got to do and what you can't do. How's that fair? So I got the actual reverse of what people be complaining about. Right? Like women get rights. I don't think women don't have rights. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what rights that like I don't know. I never nobody ever answered that question. What right? Like when they say we're fighting for rights for women, it's like even when they say like the whole abortion thing, right? I'd be sitting there looking at it
Hmm.
like, man, fuck out of here, bro. The only reason that shit on the table is because motherfucker, and then half of the people who arguing that shit, like, like He got a right for abortion. You ain't even gonna be in a position to get a fucking abortion. If you put in that position, then I mean, if you using that shit as birth control, then no, I don't think you should have the right to get an abortion. I think that shit's stupid. If you want to use
Yeah.
abortion as a form of birth control, I don't feel you need to. You should have the right to abort. Because this is why people aren't responsible. There's no fucking consequences or repercussions to their action. But there are cases like if a female be raped, of course, you know what I'm saying. You should go get it. Or if a person ain't mentally stable, of course you should. I don't think me personally. Now, see, I'm gonna be taking rights away because I don't think everybody should have kids in the first place. I think you need to take a standardized test or something. You should have to go through something before you have kids because people talking, and then you hear we need more kids. No, we don't. We do not need more people on this fucking planet. Not at the rate we going. You ain't creating nothing but more sheep, more slow ass people, bro. That's all we
Um,
doing. So I'd
like
be taking
even
rights away. The
yeah,
right to give
I'm gonna
birth.
take that.
Then you say that
I'm a
shit, and then there's a whole discussion about that. Like, oh, you can't. First, they tell me you can't force us to have kids, and then when I say that, you can't tell us we can't have kids. Like, okay, then where the fuck we at?
I think I made this statement before, right? If you want to control the kids or the population of kids, just put one simple rule, rule, law, whatever, how it's supposed to be according to that little book that everybody, the book that the number one bestseller book in the world. You're supposed to be married. So if you ain't supposed to have kids without being married. So get married. Have the law to say, yo, you must be married before you have children. That'll control the whole population by itself because ain't nobody trying to be married. People ain't suitable to be married. People don't understand what it is to be married. So just put that rule in effect and let's see what happens. You know what I mean? But then what you gonna say? You took my right away? What right? What right are you looking for? Like you just said. What are you looking
I
for?
went right
The
away to
right
be a
of the
baby mama. I just wanted to be a baby
oh,
mama. It's crazy shit, bro.
okay.
I'm
Okay,
talking
well the
shit, man.
government
I'm
have the
off.
right not to no, but here's the funny part. The government have the right to not support you because you want to be a baby mama. I'm just saying, or baby daddy. Now, how do you go about that? You I promise you, you put that in the law, it'll be a lot more people abstinence. It won't be 62,000 kids. And then, everybody I don't think people really understand this. Like, I know, all right, let me use this example, and I don't wanna make it sound crazier than it is. Do we understand that a lot of situations that kids were being born because they had nothing else to do? They was sad, they was depressed, they was quote unquote, I don't want to say cuddling, but that's what it seemed like, right? The baby boomer, baby boomers was like right around the World War II. That's when they had a lot of babies. That's what baby boomer. That's the era of baby boomers, right? We know it. We know in slavery time they was trying to populate the people with uh African Americans or whatever you want to call ourselves
Yeah,
because now that
breeding.
we're profitable. Yeah, they're breeding, but a lot of the times they were just having kids because that's the only time they had to themselves. They like okay, cool, and they wasn't minding it because it's their property. So y'all go ahead and do what y'all do. You can go ahead and then say that's your wife. You can go ahead and have 8, 9, 10, 12, 16 kids, but that's my property. Understand that. That's the same thing today because when you have a kid and you put it on a birth certificate, you gave your kid to the you gave your kid to the state. So people don't even understand what's going on now. It's no difference. But I don't want to talk about that because people might try to cancel us if we had that type of conversation. I'm just saying we have to do the work. You got to cultivate your mind. Understand what's going to
Mm-hmm.
cultivate your observation skills. Look and see what's going on around you. If you understand what's going on, you need to slow down, right? But I get it. Everybody don't want to learn. Everybody don't want to do these things. People are incorrigible, and I get it. So that's the frustration that people like you and I have to deal with, because people know it all. And like I tell you all the time, because they grown, they don't have room to grow. So it's like talking to the daggone wall. So, we just, like I said, patience is a virtue when you have these type of conversations. And so, you got to have that patience in order to have it. Like I said.
Even patience, man, you gotta cultivate that. Like, bro, I had to cultivate a lot of that shit today, bro. These kids bad as hell, bro. My kids bad as hell. I'm happy I waited till I was older, bro. I remember one day I got so frustrated with my son. This is before I even had my daughter. I looked at my brother. I was like, I see why your ass was going to jail right when the baby pop out. You wouldn't come home until they like 3, 4 years old. Shit, I see why now. He's
Yeah, you
like,
had
fuck
to do the
you. I'm
work.
like, hey man, it's just saying it was just a pattern I seen, bro. I just seen a pattern, bro. I mean, I understand why now. I don't know if you was doing that shit subconsciously, but you was on to something, bro. Like these little motherfuckers, boy. And they black
he,
and Middle Eastern, two of the wildest fucking races on the planet. Like energetic races. Like, man.
he made that his state of mind.
Mhm.
You what? Oh man, hold on, man. Let me get my three options. God, let
Yeah.
me do two. Let
Oh,
me
you
do a two to
pregnant?
four.
I see you in 3 to 4. I see you in 3 to
I'll
4.
do a 2 to 4. What you mean, babe?
Oh nah,
that
shit.
is
I got
that
fucked up
is
last night. My bad. My bad.
that's
Don't even start talking
diabolical.
shit because he gonna listen to this like fuck you, man.
That's diabolical. That is
I'm
a
talking about
creative
business.
mind if he do that. Woo! I'm just saying. But yeah, a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people just I don't like, I really don't understand it. This is, it's hard. Like, people don't understand it's hard. It's one thing to get the courage to come up here and have a conversation like this, right? It's another thing to bring up a topic like this. But if your audience don't receive it, then that could shut you down. You know what I mean? That could be so discouraging. Like, ain't nobody listening to me. I got like zero. My thing say is zero. You know, it's different when it's different if you're doing something like sports, right? You could just go ahead and just rehash all the stats and all that other stuff. Ain't nobody there. All right, well, I don't need you to be there because I'm just giving out replays of stats of what happened in this game, that game, or whatever the case may be. So it's different. But when you do this, man, this could be very discouraging. So you have to, like you said, you have to cultivate a thing of patience, a thing of humility. Because if you don't have that, man, you just coming up here, you're gonna be acting a fool, and that's what these other people want. I can't do it, so I had to, even these this week off or whatever the case may be, these past couple of days, I needed to sit there and gather myself because I'm like, yo, this it can be discouraging, but if you don't have the patience to do so, you'll be a fish out of water sometimes.
You know what, man? Always, I, like y'all always give credit to Stoic for saying consistency is the key, but he got that from me, and that's something I
All
live
right,
by. Bro. Sometimes you gotta. I mean, I don't mind, bro. I share a lot of things. Bro. He sounds better saying it than
yeah.
I do. Better, you know. I made it a hot line. He made it a hot song, literally. Like, but yeah, I've lived that though. Like, and a lot of times you got to push yourself, bro. It's about. It's not about doing things when you want to do it. It's about can you do it when you don't want to do it. That's just life, you know.
Right.
So, you always have thoughts in my head like, man, this is bullshit. Because I know I accepted a long time. I accepted when I started this channel that man, this shit ain't gonna be popular, bro. I'm not gonna get this or get that. But I'm sticking to my values. I'm sticking to my morals. Um, and I'm gonna do what I do the way I'm gonna do it. If it catch on, then it catch on. If it don't, then it don't. But I always been like ahead of my time. I always felt like that. Like always been in the future versus the past. So, shit I'm saying now, people gonna need it probably like 10 years from now. So I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
This conversation,
Yeah.
I ain't even gonna do 50 views, but it's all right. and in 3 years from now, it'll probably be at 1,000 views. You know, but
Yeah,
that's how shit work, man. That's how shit work.
yeah, but that's
A lot of people, Walt Disney was ahead of his time.
mhm.
Shit, Kanye is ahead of his time. Mike is ahead of his time. All these people ahead of their time, bro. You know, I ain't saying I'm a genius, but I am saying I'm a genius at the same time. Make that make sense. See,
Nah, it
people
makes
can't fuck
perfect
with
sense.
that, bro.
It makes perfect sense because at the end of the day, you being who you are, you being the nine, you being your truthful self, and like I always say, just because people don't embrace you for who you are, they may disassociate yourself from themselves from you because of the message, and and the messenger instead of the message. You know, it's those nitpickers that get in the way of understanding. It's the nitpickers that get in the way of growth. It's the nitpickers that get in the way of elevation for other people. Why? Because misery loves company. And in order to cultivate yourself, you must understand that those miserable people, those are the weeds that's choking the air and life out of people that's trying to elevate, grow, and things of that nature. So, you just got to continue to, cut the weeds like you would your lawn. You don't want that grass to overgrow. So you probably cut it every 7 to 10 days. Some people might go 2 weeks. I don't think people should go further than 2 weeks, but you want to make sure that you once you see that little grass that's growing, it ain't looking like it was when you first cut it. You don't see your lines no more. It's time to cut it down, and that's what a lot of people is doing now. They trying to get this line and weeds cut it out the way, but sometimes you can't catch them all, and then when you don't catch them all, it just looks horrible in your front lawn. So you try to do your best to clean up your front lawn, and that's what we're doing now.
Yeah, man. I know. I think I make people uncomfortable. This is just my opinion. I could be totally wrong about this, but I know I make people uncomfortable because I'm hard to read, but I'm not meant to be read. I'm meant to be comprehended or translated. Oh my God, bro. Give me 1 second, right out.
Go ahead. And the sad part about it is, just because people don't know how to, the question is, why don't people want to understand? Right? Comprehension is a little bit higher than understanding. The question should be for everybody: why don't people want to understand what's being done, what the goal is, what the situation is, what's going on around them? Right? Is it because people really don't want to? They don't care. I think that the people care. I just think that they don't want to make the adjustments. One, because they don't know how, and the other reason is, like I said earlier, because people just don't want to do the work to change around what they need to change around, or adjust to the things that they need to adjust to, right? Because we all know that there's somebody in their life, in their friendships, in your circle, however you want to put it, that we know somebody that has just settled and settled for something that they know good and well they don't deserve to be in, right? If it's an abusive relationship, if it's a one-sided friendship, if it's a one-sided family ship, right? Because you might do something for a cousin or uncle or aunt, and it's always one-sided. They call, you go running, or so on and so forth. But we do that. I think a lot of the time we do that because we're trying to keep up who we are, but at the same time we're choking ourselves because we're not growing ourselves, because we keep trying to keep our word of who we are. And a lot of the times we should take blame for that, because like I said, we're trying to be who we are. As he said, consistency is key. So we're not trying to break our consistency of who we are, right? I'll give you an example. If I know, if one important family member in my family calls, there's no questions to be asked. I'm going to see the individual. What do you need? How can I help? What's going on? You need this done? I'm on my way. It could be, you know, in the middle of the day. All right, I'll be up there on the weekend. I'm working, right? It's just because it's me being the person that I am, and they know who you are. They know that you're gonna come when they call, right? We all may have a person like that in our life. And that's because we are trying to be consistent with who we are. And
Oh
we,
no,
it's not it's not to be it's not to be a people pleaser, it's just to be who we are. And that could hinder us as well.
and that's a form of cultivation too. You know what I'm saying? Just being yourself, bro. People don't even practice that. Most people fall into like
Hmm.
societal norms and they go with the crowd and shit. It's hard to be an individual, within a group. You know, it's hard to do that, and you have to cultivate yourself. Sticking to your beliefs, creating boundaries, creating a structure. It's hard to do that. People just go with the path of less resistance most of the time.
Well, I'll say this then. If that's the case, this is one of the easiest situations that I could have ever been in my life, right? I know I can do things on my own, but I think that, the fact that you and we work so much together, and like I said, when I have this next live, we did not speak about this. I promise y'all that. But what I'm saying is, great minds think alike. We looking at a goal. We're not looking at our individualism. We're looking at a goal. We still are individuals. We're not sacrificing our individualism. We're not losing it. We're investing in the common goal. This is what I was talking about when I say submit. You go underneath to look at a better picture. And when you submit to the goal, you elevate the goal by working together with like-minded people, and then you go ahead and sustain the goal. But people don't, like I said, people don't like to break down words. People don't like to do things like that. Suffix and prefix, they don't want to do all that. All right, all they see is, all right, I'm inferior, so I don't want to submit because you're gonna make me feel inferior. You're not inferior if you're working on a common goal. And this is what people don't understand. You don't lose your individualism if you're working on a goal. A better you is a better us is an individual becoming better and therefore pushing another person to become better. And elevation is what the goal was in the first place. Now, instead of you just
Hmm.
elevating, we're elevating. But because people don't have that simple concept of cultivating, they don't know what we're talking about.
They ain't trying to make this man look. I was just when you said a goal, like first thing I thought about is what's my role. Like we set a goal, okay, goal is set. This is what we want to do. Now, what part do I play? Most people can't even do that. They can't even set the role. Like I said, most people want the role and not the responsibilities that come with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
No,
don't
they
know.
want the title. No, they want the title and not the role. You know what I mean? For example, a
Yeah.
dude want to be a father, right? You just want the title, but you don't want to be the dad. You understand what I'm saying? Or however that goes. You
Hmm.
want the title of being a dad, or father, because that's what the legal term is. But you don't do the work of a dad.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? People want titles and not roles. You want to be a wife, but don't want to do the wifely duties. You want to be the husband, but don't want to do the husbandly duties. You want to be a boss, though, but don't want to do the work of a boss. You think that a boss just sits there and tap their foot on the floor while everybody else do the
So
work.
everybody
If
else
you an
will.
innovator,
Uh,
yeah, if you're an innovator, you got to innovate what you want done. You got to put that thing to work. But because you don't know what the role's entitled, you don't know what the role is. I just want to be a CEO. You know what a CEO consists of? You ain't gonna be home because
so,
a lot of the times you gotta shake and bake. You gotta meet people. You gotta make business deals. You gotta fly over here to make something happen over there, and you don't know what that role consists of. But it sounds good, so I want it. This is what people don't understand. It sounds good because you ain't in the role. But once you win that role, you're gonna see the work and you may not be ready for it.
yeah, bro. Like, yeah, as you saying that, I'm watching for moving right now. About to take a load up. I don't like my wife walking up the stairs with clothes basket. Is her. laundry room in the basement. And I set that president when she was present. I mean, pregnant. So it's just natural for me to do the laundry now. I'm a little better at it. Trying to separate myself like I'm more attention to detail and stuff. So
But see, your situation is a marriage situation. You and your wife, y'all have the conversations. You come to an agreement because y'all see there's a bigger goal for what y'all want done, right? So now you like, you know what, babe? I know you just did A, B, and C. Let me do the laundry, and you just get off your feet. You just came home from work. Don't worry about it. I got the laundry, and by the time you get up in the morning, you got something fresh to wear, so on and so forth, right? I can hear dudes in the bed. That's some beta move. No, it's a common goal move. The common goal is I want to make sure that my wife is comfortable and ready to go when she needs to go out there and do what she
who's
needs
the
or
tell?
wants to do as far as making her money. And that's just what it is. But people always gonna have something to say when they don't have the position to say it. And that's a lot of the problems that we have too.
I was washing my own clothes before I got married, bro. Shit, normal. Right, people. I don't know, but my grandmother, she raised me and told me, "I'm gonna teach you everything you need to know. One thing you'll need a woman for, sex.
Have
One
a
thing you'll
baby.
need a woman for, sex. Not she ain't even say no
Have a
baby.
baby.
She said sex. She told me that at 5 years old. I'm like, what is sex? What is sex?
And that's what I'm saying. People don't understand. Okay, it just sounds different. It sounds weird. Rudy, what's going on, Rudy? It just
What up,
sounds
man?
different because you know what I mean? It's not the tradition. It's not traditional. It's not the norm. Do people understand that you could change the norm? You could change the natural situations in your life. You don't have to be chaotic. You don't have to follow the ways of the world. But people don't know that because their minds ain't cultivated enough to understand you can make whatever you want into a natural situation for you. But they don't understand that. They just hear something, go with it, and keep it going. Oh well, uh, 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 I'm supposed to be doing A, B, and C. Okay, but somebody else is doing A, B, C. Do the rest of the stuff. That way, there's a balance in your relationship. There's a balance in your friendship to where there's no weekend, no weakness into the to whatever relationship it is, friendship, family, husband, wife. If you do the back end and somebody else is doing the front end, guess what that means? The middle is you're going to meet in the middle, and once you meet in the middle, everything you need is going to be completed, and that's what's going to make that relationship a strong one and not a weak one. But like I said, we had these conversations. They don't hear us though.
I just look at everything like, especially like when you have like just say our relationship, right? It's stuff that I'm gonna be effective and efficient in, and there's gonna be things you're effective and efficient in. And if you're effective and efficient in this thing, what's the point of me doing it, right? I look at that like in any relationship, even with my marriage. If I'm better at something than my wife, then I'm gonna do it. She's better at something than me,
Right.
then she do it. You know what I'm saying? She got her strengths, she got her weaknesses. I got my strengths, I got my weaknesses. And when you come collective, there ain't no purpose of getting with somebody. Like even in a friendship, bro, we got both the same weaknesses and the same strengths, bro. We go cancel each other out, and we ain't gonna get some shit ain't gonna get done because we weak in this and we can only do this. So that's how I look at it. So
But that's
I mean,
how.
that shit makes
But
sense. I don't even call it
it makes
logical.
perfect
That's just,
sense.
man.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Common. But you know what we say? Common sense ain't even common no more, right? If you weak and I'm weak, how the hell we gonna make each other strong in that department? Because we're both weak. Now the only other thing we could do is ask somebody who's strong in that department. Help they'll help us to get strong. That's why a better you is a better us. Because we're gonna attract those people that understands that we may be weak in that department. They may be weak in the departments we're strong at, but as individuals coming together as a collective, there is no weakness. because we're all understanding of what it is. Now, I ain't try to put a triangle up there, the Trinity, and none of that. That was just coincidental. But the fact of the matter is, if we all work on ourselves, if I understand, for example, if I understood what Commander's weakness is, she understands my weakness. That's why we can sit there and have the joke. Where's the faith? Because we both have an understanding. I got your back, you got my back. Whatever you think you can't do or understand, I can be there to try to help you. And whatever I can't understand, you can help me. And then we got the big nine is sitting there. Okay, well, I can help both y'all because I'm up top looking at everything that y'all doing. Now we're a well working unit. Whether people understand that or not, that's not our problem. The fact of the matter is we understand each other. Sometimes we ain't gotta say nothing. All right, he wants somebody to come up. Okay, Commander, are you going? Okay, no, I'll go. I'll go this time. Don't worry about it. I appreciate it. And then I got it. Gary sleeps. Don't worry about it. But that's just how we and there was no effort of working. It's just the understanding that we all are working on the same goal. That's the beauty of not losing your individualism. But like I said, because people don't understand that, they just think I'm submitting to somebody who thinks they're better than me. And that's not what this is about at all.
No, bro, I don't even know that's not it. Bro, I hate to cut this short, but my kids, bro, my wife, I hear her and
All
them
right,
screaming
do
at
what you
me.
do. Go
Man,
ahead, do
they
what you
going
gotta do.
crazy.
Shut it down.
Bro, they
All
don't
righty.
listen to nobody but me. As soon as I go in there,
All right,
everybody
go
looking
ahead, do what
knocked
you
out.
do.
As soon as I get off of here
All
and
right,
go lay down about 5 minutes, watch everybody sleep. But
all
but
right,
while
do
I'm
what you
on
do.
here,
Go ahead.
everybody, but I appreciate you coming up, bro. I appreciate.
No doubt, no doubt.
Hopefully, that's what I'm saying. Like even this, bro. It's like I don't know, bro. We talk about it, but yeah, it's just like it's the time, bro. Even when I think I got time, I don't get time. So you know how upset I would have been, or I ain't gonna say upset. I would have been disappointed if I actually had like some information to present, and all this was going on in the house. I can't get jiggy with this shit, bro. Kids trying, wife, like and I know she tired. She had a crazy day at work, so it was like I just feel bad, leaving her in there with the kids. But let me jump off here, bro. Oh, shit, you already know. All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody. Y'all know what I always say. Care about how you feel. These are conversations to build nation. If I say anything that resonated with you, do me a favor, hit that share button. Tell somebody, help me spread the word. But until next time, we out. That's all I got.
And do it for the nine.
What up, Nine?
Acknowledge me!